Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the gymnasium at Milford High School as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. This is Tim Coet on the call as we bring you the first Friday night basketball action of this 2018-19 winter season. The Milford Scarlet Hawks playing game number 3 on their regular season schedule, getting set to take on their first Davenport opponent of the year in the Sharon Eagles. It's been a bit of a rocky start to this new season so far for the Scarlet Hawks as they come into tonight's game at 0-2. Sharon playing in their very first game of the season here tonight, so without a record. But for Milford, getting the season started about 5 days ago, they opened up their campaign here at home last Sunday, taking on Algonquin Regional High School. Algonquin went deep in the playoffs last season in the Division I Central bracket, made it to the sectional final. And bringing a lot of talent back. It was a fierce battle, good defense early for Milford, but they ultimately fell in that first game 67-51. They followed that up with another tough playoff-proven opponent in the Franklin Panthers this past Tuesday on the road. Again, Milford got off to a strong defensive start, but the offense just was not there on a consistent basis. And ultimately, the team that made it all the way to the Division I state championship game last season in the Panthers, they were able to take care of business at home in a big way, 64-29, the blowout loss for Milford. So they come in licking their wounds a bit at 0-2, and most importantly, looking to finally get this offense jump-started. Of course, a new year for the Scarlet Hawks. A lot of talent departing due to graduation after last season. You think back to last year's team, some key contributors no longer in the fold. Chief among them, Caden Kelly, who was such a valuable player offensively and defensively, and in particular under the basket for this team. Other key starters departing from last year's team, starting center Andrew Fraioli, captains on the team from last year, Shane Cosquette, Joey DeMarco as well. And you think about key role players as well in Joey Everett and Zach Tomorrow. So a lot of holes to fill on this team. But the bright spot for Milford is they do return their leading scorer from last season in Brendan White. And looking for some other players to start to step into the forefront. First and foremost on that list is junior Colby Perez. What a phenomenal fall sports season for Colby, throwing for over 2,300 yards on the gridiron, passing for 22 touchdowns. And so looking to bring some of that accuracy behind the three-point line on this basketball team for this season. And also a lot of buzz about the sophomores on this varsity roster this year as well. Dom Schofield, who looks to fill that void underneath the basket, standing at 6'5". He looks to be an asset for this team, and also a lot of buzz on some other sophomores on this roster as well, including Jordan Darling, who's already flashed some brilliance on this season, showing some good skill cutting to the basket through those first 2 games. So a couple of underclassmen that factor in heavily to Milford's plans in this upcoming season as well. A balanced roster, all 3 classes represented, senior, junior, and sophomore. No freshmen on the varsity roster for Milford this season, but still bringing a lot of talent from 3 grades and looking to bring that all together and looking again for a little bit more of a consistent effort here tonight, especially offensively, but a good team perhaps for the offense to start to blow up against in this Sharon Eagles team. They were allowing points at a record clip last season, allowing 67 points per night on average. That was the worst margin in the Hockomock League, and Milford was able to exploit that to the tune of a couple of 70-plus point performances against this Sharon team last season, winning both regular season matchups, and in particular, Brendan White having a field day against this Eagles defense, scoring 20-plus points in both of those victories against Sharon last season. So hoping to bring some of that luck to the floor again in this 2018-19 matchup between Milford and Sharon, which is set to take place in just a couple of short minutes. Should be an entertaining game. Again, the first Friday night home game of the season. The fans already electrified after quite an entertaining junior varsity game that just finished up a few moments ago. So hoping that that will carry over onto the varsity floor as well. So again, Milford and Sharon getting set to tangle here on the Milford Hardwood. And we will have the opening tip for you when we come back next here on Milford TV. And welcome back inside a lively and rowdy Milford Gymnasium. The student section already set and roaring. Excited to have basketball once again here in the Milford Gym. It is home game number 2 on the season for Milford, but the first Friday night game, and the fans amped up and ready to go. As we mentioned just before the break, the JV team doing a good job getting the crowd warmed up with an exciting last-second comeback to steal a victory. And so now it is the varsity team out there, and quickly we'll run through the starters. First for Sharon, it is Aaron Strong, Aiden Kane, Cameron Baker, Alex Kaufman, and Andrew Burton. And for the Scarlet Hawks, it is Colby Perez, Jordan Darling, Dom Schofield, and then a pair of captains in Brendan Saylor and Brendan White. The third captain for the Scarlet Hawks team, Steve Sutherland, starts the game on the bench after getting starting minutes in each of the first 2 games on the year. Jordan Darling now inserted into the starting lineup and racing after that loose ball after the opening tip. And winning possession for the Scarlet Hawks as Brendan Saylor, named a senior captain, gets the inbounds in right to Perez. And Milford now settles into their offense as Saylor will dribble it back outside. Saylor, his second year on this varsity team after transferring in. A quick pass outside to White, who lets it fly from 3-point range. No good, but Milford able to grab the offensive rebound. Perez and Saylor go back and forth 30 seconds into this first quarter. Now Schofield trying to time it up, and he ends up getting the foul. Big shoes to fill, figuratively and literally, for Dom Schofield as he looks to try to fill that void of Caden Kelly. And again, you just cannot overstate the value that Caden Kelly had to this varsity program, a 3-year starter, contributing in his freshman year as well. Was basically good for a double-double a game, so sturdy and reliable defensively. Cleaned up the boards, came through with some clutch buckets as well. You think back to that Marlboro playoff game 2 seasons ago in Caden's junior campaign. It was a huge factor in overtime, helping Milford gut out that playoff victory. Certainly will be missed. I know he meant a lot to Coach Seaver, meant a lot to turning this program around, and now Schofield looking to step in and fill that position. Unable to collect the free throws, and now Sharon flying up the floor as we stay scoreless, and this has been a problem for Milford through their first 2 games of the season. Sluggish offensive starts. None more glaring than the game against Franklin, in which Milford was held without a field goal until about 5.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. A miss for Aaron Strong, the captain for the Eagles, and now Milford back up the other way. Darling briefly with the ball in his hands. Now White and Saylor around the perimeter. A couple of early buckets you would think would go a long way to settling this team down. They have not been able to dictate pace in a game yet this season. Here's Perez with the jumper inside the arc, but no good. A lot of shot opportunities early in that game against Franklin, but could not convert. As meanwhile, on the other end of the floor, it's Cameron Baker who sinks the first basket of the evening to give Sharon the first points. 6:20 to play in the first quarter as Darling cuts inside. Sends the right hand up, but could not convert on the layup. And more misses, but Milford able to strip the Eagles on the way up. Now in transition, they leave it behind for Saylor, who shoots from 3. No good. Here's Perez fighting for the rebound, and the ball goes out of bounds, last touched by the junior Colby Perez. More frustration on the sidelines for Coach Seaver as his offense has had some opportunities to put points up here in these early minutes, and some misses from the line and from the floor. Now dropping back for a long 3, a couple of bounces, and no good. That is Alex Kaufman, who had a good performance here in Milford last season in a losing effort. One of the captains, along with Aaron Strong and Ben Kaplan. Still just a 2-0 score as Milford is called for the travel. Just under 5.5 minutes to go as the ball gets sent back in play into the hands of Strong as he crosses the center line. Now kicks to the corner. Dribbling out from there is Baker. Now inside, Kaufman to the hoop, no good. Schofield with the rebound. Now the quick bounce pass ahead to White, makes a move around a defender and gets the layup to fall. Brendan White, we mentioned it. 20 points plus both times he faced this Eagles team as a junior. And now again up the floor in transition. Tries to fight through a double team and ends up getting the foul. The foul called against Cameron Baker, his first. The second foul for Sharon. You can hear Coach Seaver from the sideline shouting, "Make the free throws," after a couple of misses from Schofield earlier in the quarter, and now you can make it a third straight miss as White can't convert. One more to go. Chance to give Milford their first lead of the night, and he's able to make the second. 3-2 now in favor of the Scarlet Hawks with 4:51 to go in the opening quarter. Darling guarding against Strong. Now the kick to the corner. High arcing three, no good. Schofield and White both go up for the rebound. And now here's Perez, good turnaround move. And he will pick up the foul. And this is one thing Milford has done a very good job at through these first 2+ games, is racking up the fouls against their opponents. That's now the third foul for Sharon and the second foul of the game for Aiden Kane. That forces him to the bench. Now the play off the inbounds pass for Darling. Count it for the sophomore. His first points of the night, and Milford now with a 3-point advantage. And out from the left wing. Now dribbling inside, strong move to the hoop for Andrew Burton. Cuts it down to a 1-point margin. Now Perez sees the lane. Defense closes in, but good touch from Perez. Perez doing a lot of his work from long range last season, looking to develop more of an inside presence this season as he factors in heavily to how successful this team is. Schofield trying for the second chance effort. Now White able to keep the play alive. A couple of offensive boards give Milford a chance to capitalize. 4 points now in this quarter for White as Milford assumes a 9-4 advantage. Now that ball looping up into the stands. Brendan Saylor jumping into the stands as well. And it'll be Sharon inbounding right in front of the Milford bench players. Milford with a 5-point lead, 3:29 to go in the first. Ball in the hands of the captain, Ben Kaplan. Dishes off to the corner, and a kicked ball. And Sharon will have a chance to inbound again. We talked about it a little bit during the fall sports season when we were in the gym for volleyball, but there's repeating during this basketball season. Brand new scoreboards on both sides of the floor as Milford sends the kickball out of bounds again, and that even draws a smile out of the normally serious and stone-faced Coach Seaver on the sidelines. A great new technology here in the gym as the deep three is no good. Nice job fighting for the rebound inside for Ben Kaplan. Allows Sharon to reset. Burton now around the perimeter, gives away to Chandra Sakarian. Now fighting through traffic down the baseline, and that, I believe, was Kaplan again, and this time he will go to the free throw line. They will call Ben Blanchard for the foul. Blanchard in there as a substitution. One of the newcomers to this varsity squad. A miss, meanwhile, for Kaplan. He's able to make the second. Lead stands at 4. And Saylor finding Blanchard. Gets it back in his own hands. Now White loses a defender, but then gets rejected inside by Ben Kaplan, who continues to make his mark early in this first half. Swats the ball out of play. It stays with Milford with 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Quick feed into White. Makes the move inside. No good. Gets his rebound and gets fouled. Can certainly chalk some of the offensive woes up to just bad luck around the rim. A lot of shots just not falling through these first 2+ games of the season for Milford. You know eventually that's going to change. White frustrated as he misses his second free throw of the quarter. And misses both, 1 for 4, shooting from the line in this quarter. The ball now loose, Saylor's able to pick it up. Now steps up for the shot, no good. A lot of misses for both of these teams. Another low-scoring first quarter. That was what we saw in Franklin on Tuesday. It was just an 8-4 score after the first 8 minutes. The defense really holding Franklin down. But eventually the Panthers were able to get it going in the second quarter. Milford trying to keep it close. They ended up scoring 14 points in the third quarter to give themselves a chance, but then were outscored 23-3 in the final 8 minutes. And the rout was on. So hoping to see a different storyline play out here at home. 2:21 to go in the first quarter. The Hawks do lead it over Sharon 9-5. As Schofield guards the inbounds pass. Sharon able to get it into Alec Filipkowski. Saw some time at the varsity level last season as a sophomore, and count that one from 3-point range for Ben Kaplan. Up to 4 points now in this first period, and it's now just a 1-point game. Now here's Blanchard. He steps back for a deep three, hits back rim. Schofield couldn't quite handle the rebound, but able to deflect it in the direction of Brendan White. And then Jordan Darling with his hands on the basketball down low. He gets fouled. One minute and 54 seconds to go here in the first. Here's Darling from the line. A lot of arc on that first free throw attempt, but it is good. Milford just 2 for their first 7 free throws. Darling trying to have a clean trip to the line, and he does. Puts the score at 11-8 in favor of Milford. Speed up the floor once again for Sharon. Steve Sutherland now into the game. Trying to protect against that shot. It rims out right to Brendan White for the defensive board. Now quick pass inside to Sutherland. Now feeds it right back out to his fellow captain, and now to Captain Brendan Saylor. Saylor getting harassed by Kaplan. And Sutherland doing a good job plucking that pass, but then throws it away. And now a lot of speed up the floor for Chandrasekaran. Kiran Chandrasekaran. Definitely the longest name on either of these rosters. Now Sutherland steps back for a three. Off the side of the rim, Milford nearly getting the offensive rebound, but here is Kaplan, who has been a major factor. Whistle stops play with 58.9 seconds to go. And we'll see some more substitutions now for both teams. We'll see Danny Corsini check into the game. He replaces Blanchard. Good minutes from Ben Blanchard, the 5'10" sophomore. Now clean look from outside. Count it for Alec Filipkowski. It's the second three for Sharon in this quarter. 40 seconds left to go as we're tied up at 11. Corsini around to Saylor. Corsini gets it back, but has it deflect off the hands and out. But grabbing a piece of Sharon on the way out. Fortunate for Corsini. Now the feed into the corner for White. And Brendan White. His first three knocked down. He now has 8 points in this first quarter. The lead at 3 for Milford. 13 seconds left in this first quarter. Shot clock turned off. And the quick turnaround shot, the Milford crowd might have had a hand in that. Now 2 seconds to go. One more chance for White. Just able to get the shot off. Lost the dribble right there at the last second, and it forced him to toss up an off-balance shot, and it was not close. So that concludes the opening 8 minutes. Milford able to notch 14 points to take an early lead, 14-11 on Sharon. We'll have the start of the second quarter for you right after this here on Milford TV. All things considered, a better start to the game here tonight for the Scarlet Hawks than what they've experienced so far on the year, leading it over Sharon 14-11. A lot of missed shots in those first 8 minutes, but the offense starting to get something going. And ready to start the second quarter of play as White gets the ball into Saylor. White once again having success against this Sharon team with 8 first quarter points. And there's Corsini with a quick runner to the basket for his first points of the night. Sharon very quick up the floor. They have shown that throughout this first half. A lot of speed and athleticism amongst this Eagles group. Now the release out of the right corner for Brendan White. Six fouls for the Eagles, 4 for the Scarlet Hawks so far in this first half. Saylor will inbound. Just 30 seconds into this second quarter. It is White, Saylor, Corsini, Perez, and Sutherland, the 5 on the floor early on in the second quarter for Milford. Milford committing the turnover. Aaron Strong, the bounce pass to Caleb Gale. And now a scrum on the floor. Perez couldn't come away with it. Now they kick it back outside. Quick ball movement, and that sets up the three-point attempt for Aiden Kane, and count it. Excellent ball movement for the Eagles. Now here's Sutherland. Sutherland called for the charge. That's the first foul on the senior captain. Just a one-possession game here. Strong tries to make the quick move to the basket. And the foul on the floor. They're going to call it against Brendan White, I believe. They do indeed. That's White's first foul. And a long inbounds pass finds Kane. After getting on the score sheet with that three-pointer, Kane was forced to the bench in the first quarter after picking up a couple of quick fouls. 15 seconds on the shot clock. And now the inside move and the layup for Alex Kaufman. That's just the first points of the night for Kaufman. Now it's White. He'll test that left corner again. That's been the sweet spot for White from long range. He knocks down his second three. And it's 11 points now in this first half for Brendan White. It ups the Milford lead now to 19-6 and sends us into our first time out of the game. It comes with 5 minutes and 55 seconds to go in the first half. Again, Milford leading Sharon by a score of 19-16 here on Milford TV. Just under 6 minutes to play in the first half. Tim Coet here with you on a Friday night in Milford. A 19-16 lead for the Hawks. Here's Kaufman. Milford drawing the offensive foul. Sharon putting the pressure on in the backcourt. Sutherland dribbles it into the front court now, gives away to Corsini. Corsini misfires on the layup, couldn't get the bank off the glass. And now another three-point attempt from Kane, this time no good. Now White pushes the floor, goes coast to coast and finishes at the rim. 13 points and counting for the senior captain, and now gets his hands on that pass, now dives to the floor as the ball goes out of play, and it will be Milford ball. There is the energy and agitation from Brendan White. Locked into this game, leading the way, the second-year captain, but his inbounds pass read well by Aiden Kane. He plucks it down for the steal. Now Strong out of the corner, and he gets called for the offensive foul as White goes down. It's the first foul on Aaron Strong. 8 fouls now for the Eagles. Milford in the bonus. Corsini in some trouble, hands off to Perez, now gets it back. He'll shoot the quick three. And that grabs a piece of one of the supports for the basketball hoop, so the turnover. Now the deflection held onto by Aiden Kane. Kane now still with the ball in his hands, can't get around Corsini. Now the leading pass, Sutherland tries to save it, but ends up sending it right into the hands of Cameron Baker. Good effort from Sutherland, but no one there to receive that no-look pass. And Sharon able to capitalize on the other side, courtesy of Baker. Baker with 4 first-half points. And now the whistle right at midcourt stops the clock with 4:05 to go. Another foul against Sharon, and you can see the frustration starting to show on the Eagles as Milford will head to the line. The free throw line has been all but automatic for Milford in this first half, shooting 3 for 8. Sutherland able to make his first. Two for 2 for the big man. And the lead back up to 5. I believe that is the largest lead Milford has had in this half. They wave off the basket as the foul was committed on the floor. Looks like this will be the second foul of the game for Brendan White. Indeed. Milford now with 7 fouls. So the violation there for Sharon. Wipes away the free throws and gives Milford the chance to inbound. More pressure in the backcourt for Sharon. Sutherland able to advance. Now back to White. White gets swarmed. Jordan Darling back on the floor. Now, Pires trying to get free for a quick three, but he sends it off the side of the rim. Now again, that good transition game for Sharon, but a double dribble. A friendly reminder from the Milford fans as Brendan White was left all alone for the uncontested three, but he doesn't make the shot, and hard for Coach Seaver to not show his frustration. And meanwhile, the foul, so perhaps the frustration more on the foul than the miss for White. The foul was committed by the sophomore, Jordan Darling. His first foul, or I beg your pardon, and the foul was committed by Colby Pires, his first foul. Make for Kaplan. Back down to a one-possession game. .308 to go as Pires it's some miscommunication there. Saylor expecting him to make a break for the left corner. Instead, was going the other way, and by the time he got the course correction from Saylor, too much time taken, and another Milford turnover. Now move inside for Kaplan. No good this time. Now White goes the other way. And White gets fouled on the way up, and meanwhile, some protective padding around the backboard that was partially dislodged there. Looks like they'll let it go for the moment. Brendan White, as good as he's been in this first half offensively, it's been a different story from the free throw line where he is 1 for 5 now. And 1 for 6. Keeps it at a 3-point margin with 2:42 to go until halftime. Burton in trouble, gives way to Ben Kaplan. 8 points in the half for Kaplan. Now Saylor loses control, gets it back, fires the pass to Brendan White, and now gets it back with 18 seconds left on the shot clock. Just over 2 minutes to go in the half. Now Darling, the turnaround shot from the free throw line, no good. Sutherland can't fight for the rebound. It's settled down by Caleb Gale. And now to the basket. Saylor trying to draw the charge, but they'll call the senior captain for his second foul. Saylor pleading his case with the official, not liking what he hears. And meanwhile, the first free throw no good for Burton. Sharon 3 of 5 from the line so far in the half. And that free throw ties the score up at 23. Quick move up the floor And the release for Kyle Hoopy now into the game. Kyle Hoopy, a senior, listed at an even 6 feet. The student section was chanting for him to come into the game in between the first and second quarter, so perhaps taking the mantle of fan favorite, as Brendan Saylor might turn into the fan favorite after knocking down that three. It's his first points of the half. Quick miss on the other end for Sharon. Sutherland with the defensive rebound, and Milford right back the other way. Now Sutherland will try his luck from three, no good, but he's able to collect the loose ball off the deflection. And now back outside, the fake on the pass for Saylor, no good on the shot. Hoopy collects it, a quick release, no good, and another offensive rebound. All kinds of chances on this trip up the floor. And Saylor now taking some time to reset with 53 seconds in the half. Still a one-possession game at 26-23. Bounce pass into Sutherland. He hands off. Now the kick outside. Perez will take the contact from three-point range, and he will shoot three from the line. Looks like he might have taken that contact in the face. Hawks trying to change their luck from the line. Perez good on the first attempt. Colby with 3 points so far through this first half. Two for two. And one more to go. And we'll see our first check-in of the night for the senior Chappelle Feaster. Another fan favorite, and deservedly so. An electric year on the football field for Feaster, offensively and defensively. Perez can't make the third free throw. He's able to give Milford a 28-23 lead. Before play continues, we will have a timeout. It comes with just 40.1 seconds to go in the first half. We'll see the conclusion of the second quarter action when we come back after this here on Milford TV. A lower scoring half in this matchup than what we saw in either of the two contests between these two teams last season. Milford with 49 first half points in the game in Sharon last season, 45 points in the first half in their matchup here at Milford. But tonight, 28 points so far in the half with just 36.3 seconds to go. A 28-23 lead as we immediately go into another timeout. And entertainment from the cheerleaders on the field, as we mentioned, or on the court, I should say. As we mentioned in the open, this is the first game on the season for Sharon. They'll have their home opener coming up next week, December 18th against Mansfield. Of course, the Mansfield Hornets, the reigning Division I state champions. It was an all-Hockomock League Division I state championship game last season, as you may recall. Mansfield taking on Franklin, with Mansfield coming out on top. The Kelly Rex division getting the better of the Davenport in a lot of matchups to open up the season. No wins yet for any Davenport teams. Everyone 0-1 on the year except for Milford, who is 0-2. And this Sharon team that has not yet played a game until tonight. Just 33 seconds to go now. Finally resuming action on the floor. Feaster is out there. And now the drive inside, and the points for Alex Kaufman. Now Feaster running the point with the shot clock turned off. Milford trying to tack on one more bucket, perhaps. That shot Does not have the distance. Sutherland with the rebound. 3 seconds to go. Feaster will toss it up from long range. It rims out, and that will conclude things here in the first half. Chance for Feaster to get on the score sheet. A near miss. And so that will send us in with just a narrow lead for the Scarlet Hawks. A 3-point margin as Milford will carry that 28-25 score into the locker room. And so this game, a lot to be decided in the second half. Should be a fascinating final 16 minutes, but we'll break here for the intermission. Again, 28-25 the score. Milford with the lead over Sharon. We'll see you in a couple of minutes for the start of the third quarter here on Milford TV. Once again, we welcome you back into the Milford Gym. Second half action now underway between the Scarlet Hawks and the visiting Sharon Eagles. Milford with a 28-25 lead. And back to their original starting five as they get this third quarter started. A quick turnover. And now Jordan Darling will release from long range. No good. Perez fights for the rebound, now outside for Brendan White, who led all scorers in the first half with 13 points. Ben Kaplan was the leading scorer on the Sharon side with 8 points. No one else on the Milford side had more than 4 points. So Brendan White doing the heavy lifting through those first 16 minutes. 55 seconds now into this third quarter as the three ball is no good for the Eagles. Misses on both sides to open up third quarter action. Dom Schofield back out on the floor, missed a lot of that first half, getting into some foul trouble. Now the ricochet out to Brendan Saylor, who knocks down his second three-pointer of the game. Quickly up to 6 points. Now they feed it into the right wing. Now driving to the basket for Aiden Kane. It's coming up short. Brendan White now swarmed. It leaves Colby Perez wide open from the far side, and he knocks down the three. Some good shooting from long range for Saylor and now Perez as Milford quickly turns the lead to 9 points. And now the ball in and out of the hands of Kane and out of play, in the turnover for the Eagles. And Milford trying to go on a quick run here to open up the score. Here's Saylor now, sees the lane to the basket, takes it. And how about 5 very quick points for Brendan Saylor out of the gates. Now Schofield, he draws the charge. Milford drawing offensive fouls with regularity on this young season. The foul going against Andrew Burton, his second foul of the game. The first Sharon foul of this second half. 5:37 on the third quarter clock. Saylor gets the screen from Darling. Now it's Schofield back out to Saylor, the up fake. Saylor directing traffic. Shot clock running down. Darling gets a tough feed, now leaves it for White. And Brendan White gets his first points of the third quarter. Up to 15 for the game and well on his way to another 20-plus point effort against Sharon. And now there's Jordan Darling picking off the pass. White in transition gets the bucket, and that forces the Sharon timeout. Milford feeling it offensively here in this third quarter, all of a sudden from 28 points to 40 as they open up a big lead now on the Eagles with 4:59 to go in the third quarter. Timeout on the floor. Will take the timeout as well here on Milford TV. A 40-25 lead for Milford. From a 3-point lead to a 15-point lead in the span of just 3 minutes. Quite a start. 4 points for White, 5 for Saylor, and another 3 for Perez. And White now will get a quick rest on the bench. Then Blanchard back onto the floor. Logged a couple of minutes in the first quarter. On a long pass, finding Kaplan. Now a scrum on the floor. Sharon comes away with it, able to get the pass back outside to Filipkowski. Filipkowski will drive in, loses control, but fortunate for Sharon. Support there. Caleb Gale. And Sharon shut out of those first 3.5 minutes, finally on the scoreboard. Now Saylor looking to answer with another 3, just short, but there's Schofield fighting for the rebound. They wave off the bucket. Milford calling the timeout, sensing danger there. Schofield came down with a contested rebound. So opting to call the timeout. The lead now at 13 for the Scarlet Hawks. Taking a look at the road ahead going forward for Milford. A lot of action in the month of December. Usually we see a little bit of a lighter workload through this first few weeks with the holiday break mixed in, but a lot of games coming up for the Scarlet Hawks, and almost all of them coming up here at home. A lot of home basketball in this first part of the season. They will play, including this game tonight, 4 consecutive games here at home. After this one against Sharon, they'll be back at home next Tuesday in a game against the King Philip Warriors. We will have that game covered for you here on Milford TV. Then coming up next Friday, December 21st, they'll be home against non-conference Westboro. Another non-conference game coming up Christmas week on December 27th against New Bedford. And their next road game will not come until after the new year in Foxborough on January the 4th. So that'll look at what's coming up for the Scarlet Hawks. A lot of tough battles, a couple of very good non-conference opponents in there. And now into the corner. A good look for Blanchard, but it rims out. And partway down and then out. Bad luck for the sophomore. Gets back defensively as Sharon had a player falling out of bounds. And another offensive foul for the Eagles. Foul going against Ben Kaplan. It's his first foul of the game. Kicked ball sent out of play. 3:44 to go in this third quarter that has been controlled by the Scarlet Hawks. The confidence level getting ratcheted up to a new level. Now to the corner for Schofield, loops it back outside, makes its way back around to Blanchard, continues to try his luck from long range. Now Schofield getting locked up for the jump ball with Sergio Ripley. Possession arrow with the Scarlet Hawks. A fresh shot clock now as Perez just did receive that inbounds pass. A little confusion there on the floor for Perez. Meanwhile, Danny Corsini back out on the floor, briefly handling the basketball. Now Saylor attacking the basket. No good on the layup. Rebound pulled down by Burton. Burton finding Caleb Gale. The shot release no good. The ball drifts out of play by the Sharon bench. Stopping the clock with 2 minutes and 58 seconds to go. And after a couple of minutes of rest, Brendan White back out onto the floor. Perez and Schofield will get a rest. Sutherland out there now as well. So it is White, Saylor, Darling, Corsini, and Sutherland, the 5 on the floor for the Scarlet Hawks. Now from the near corner, desperately needed three-pointer knocked down by Kiran Chandrasekaran. cuts it back down to a 10-point game. The lead had been as high as 15 for Milford in this third quarter. 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. And the feed down low to Gale. Gale has 4 points, and all of a sudden now Sharon going on a little bit of a run to cut it to an 8-point margin. Now Darling getting the contact on the floor. They'll call the foul on Burton, who now has 3 fouls. And no look inbounds pass right to Brendan White. That was executed to perfection by the 2 captains, Saylor and White. White now up to 6 points in the third quarter. Now a quick turnover. White, Saylor, and this time it's Saylor with the finish. Saylor, after having just 3 points in the whole first half, now with 7 points here in the third quarter to up his total to an even 10. Lead back up to 12 as Sharon inbounds with 1 minute and 40 seconds now left in the third quarter. And Gale again. Gale's been the hot hand all of a sudden for the Eagles. 6 third quarter points. And now Saylor getting harassed in the backcourt and gets a little shove afterwards. The referee's calming down the situation. No technicals issued. For Chandrasekharan, that's his first foul. Now Saylor one-handed loops it into the corner for White over everything. Darling gets the rebound, and as he was falling out of bounds, was able to get the pass away to Sutherland, who was able to get the bucket. Kaplan gets swarmed, and then the touch shot knocked down by Filipkowski. Good control. Now Brendan White somehow sneaking away from the defense. Incredible to lose track of number 4 with the game that he has had. Sharon tries to answer from 3, and the student section saying all that needs to be said. Sutherland now, after getting the rebound, could not get a pass away. Now the ball loose on the floor. Corsini has it, up for the shot, and it's good. Corsini with 4 points off the bench. Now Darling with the steal. Hands it off to Saylor. Saylor attacks the basket, and Brendan Saylor has been on fire in this third quarter. Now 8 seconds to go as Milford crosses over 50 points. Chandrasekharan will unleash the 3, gets it to go, and that will be the final shot of this third quarter. So Sharon able to answer with a little bit of momentum, but an excellent third quarter, by far the best offensive quarter of the season so far for the Scarlet Hawks as they take a 52-39 lead on Sharon. Quick chance for everyone to catch their breath, and we will be back for the fourth quarter in this Davenport Division matchup between Milford and Sharon right after this here on Milford TV. Sharon inbounds, and the fourth quarter begins here at Milford High School. A 52-39 score after a 24-point explosion in the third quarter for the Scarlet Hawks. Brendan Saylor really setting the tone, scoring 9 points in the period, 8 points for Brendan White. The 2 senior captains leading the way. And now Danny Corsini with a steal. The confidence on offense has ratcheted up what has already been a confident unit defensively. A lot of steals, forcing a lot of turnovers, forcing a lot of Sharon mistakes. Milford with an opportunity to take what is right now a 13-point lead. That lead was as high as 15 in the third quarter. Sharon briefly cut it to 8, but Milford with a good finish. Brendan Saylor now with 12 points overall in the game. Again, had just 3 at the half. And now twists and turns his way inside, can't finish. And Darling goes up for the rebound and gets fouled. And meanwhile, it's already another 20-plus point effort against Sharon for Brendan White. 21 points so far tonight, with still 6:57 left to go in this fourth quarter. Darling with the make at the line. Now all alone on the near wing, Aiden Kane able to make his second three-point attempt of this game, now 54-42. Sharon trying to stay in it. Milford looking for their first win after starting the season 0-2. Time running out. White puts up the shot, gets a piece of the rim. Darling nearly had the rebound, but it deflects to Chandrasekaran, who then sends it off to Kaufman, and now back up the floor. And Schofield's going to get called for the foul. And so that is actually just the first foul of the game for Schofield. So not a foul issue that sent Schofield to the bench in the first half. And Cameron Baker can't maximize the opportunity for free looks from the line. 2 misses. And after that second miss, the jump ball called for, the possession arrow going Milford's way. Schofield tosses in to Saylor, getting guarded tightly by Aaron Strong. Now the long pass to Perez, bounce pass to White. And they will call the foul against Brendan. And White needing to be careful now as he's up to four fouls. And it looks like Coach Seaver will send his leading scorer to the bench. So Milford now with Saylor, Perez, Darling, Corsini, and Schofield. And now a trip to the free throw line for Alex Kaufman, after Darling is called for the foul, his second. Kaufman makes the first free throw. It's been a very quiet night for Alex Kaufman. Just 5 points with one more free throw to go. Kaufman had a very good offensive night the last time we saw him when Sharon came to town last season. Named a captain for this year. And now Darling able to atone for the foul with a quick bucket. It's his first points of the second half. Now Strong loses the dribble. Sharon maintains possession. Now Strong gets it back in the corner with 5:16 left to go. A 13-point lead for the Scarlet Hawks. This Strong shot is no good. Rebound goes to Perez. And Saylor dribbles beyond half court with now under 5 minutes left to go. Saylor attacking inside, but this time can't finish. Now it's Kaufman trying to blow past defenders. Ends up taking contact. And White now, after just a quick rest on the bench, will come back in with those 4 fouls. White dangerous going for the steal. Did not make contact. Now the feed inside for Gale. Gale, when called upon in the second half, has been very effective. Now 8 points in the second half. And that bounce pass does not make it into the hands of White. Ends up deflecting out of play off of Sharon. Milford looking to stay consistent here right to the end. Only 4 points so far in this fourth quarter. 6 points for the Eagles. We mentioned it earlier, the abysmal fourth quarter against Franklin 3 nights ago, getting outscored 23-3. And Perez now with a little lack of focus, able to track down the loose ball. Now Darling from 3, no good. Schofield gets the rebound. Now Saylor from 3-point range, not close. Milford losing their touch from outside after some sharp shooting in the third quarter, but good offensive rebounding and able to take more time off the clock. Here's Perez, this time he'll drive inside. Has it knocked away, but Sharon committing the foul. The third foul of the game called on Caleb Gale. And for Milford, after some heavy traffic at the free throw line in the first half, this is their first trip to the line in the second half. Perez going 1 for 2. He's gone 3 of 5 overall on the night. The lead is 12 for the Scarlet Hawks with 3:43 left. Driving all the way inside. Looking for some love off the glass, but no good for Filipkowski, and it looked like he might have hurt his elbow as he went down after releasing that shot, trying to shake it out. You can see him, though, doubled over as he tries to stay with the play, keeping that left arm down at his side. He continues to guard Saylor, who lets the shot clock dwindle down to 5. Another trip to the line now for the Scarlet Hawks. And Milford will now swap out big men. Sutherland in, Schofield to the bench. Good work out of Schofield in this game tonight. Not showing up on the score sheet, but very good play defensively and excellent rebounding. And White making the first free throw. It's just his second make of the night from the line. 2 for 7. And Now you can make it 3 of 8. A 14-point lead as timeout is called on the floor with just 3 minutes and 12 seconds to go in this basketball game. Milford perhaps closing in on their first victory of the season, in good position now, up 59-45 on Sharon. Coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics here on Milford TV. Coming down the back stretch of this Davenport Division showdown. Milford up 59-45. And the 3-ball. Good again for Aiden Kane. He's knocked down 3 shots in this game. They've all been from 3-point range. 2 of them have come in this 4th quarter. And it keeps things interesting here as that cuts the deficit back down to 11 with 2 minutes and 59 seconds to go. Immediately, Sharon calling for the timeout, and their head coach Andrew Ferguson now going over things in the Sharon huddle. And head coach Paul Seaver talking to his group on the other side of the floor. Coach Seaver already now into, I believe, his 5th year with this boys basketball program. I'm going to have the opportunity to have a lengthy conversation with Coach Seaver back before the season started, and really now feels like he has established a consistent program here with Milford, making the playoffs 3 seasons in a row, going a step deeper into the playoffs every year. Wants this team moving forward to now look at making the playoffs as an expectation and not an accomplishment, something that this program expects to do, and they expect to go deep each year. Wanting to make trips to WPI a regular occurrence once again, as this team was able to do for so long under the direction of the legendary Steve Manguso. Well, for turning it over, it's still a 59-48 score. Chance for Sharon to bring this deficit down to single digits, but the missed shot. Milford with the rebound, and now we'll go under 2.5 minutes. White still with those 4 fouls. Sutherland gets swarmed back to White, drives inside. Gets his first points from the floor in this 4th quarter. 25 points on the night for Brendan White. And the air ball on the other side of the floor. Darling comes down with the rebound, but then gets locked up. And a good job by Aiden Kane coming in there late to force the jump ball and give the Eagles possession. 2 minutes and 4 seconds to go. And the bounce pass was read well by Milford, by Darling initially, and then Sutherland in support. Able to jar the ball loose, and now Saylor taking a couple of extra seconds off the clock before Milford gets into their offense. White from the free throw line gets the shot and the chance for the 3-point play. 27 points and counting now for the 2nd-year captain of the Scarlet Hawks. Was a captain as a junior last year, now a senior captain. And he has absolutely led the way here tonight. Knocks in the free throw to complete the 3-point play. And White now, if he can make another here in the final minute and 39 seconds, can get up to that 30-point mark. after the foul on Darling. Sharon with the inbounds. They feed it into Gale. Gale creates a little space. This time cannot finish. The foul was on Perez. Getting my 15s and my 14s confused tonight for some reason. As there is the layup for Brendan White. And you can now make it 30 points on the night for Brendan White. Quite a performance here against the Eagles. And Aiden Kane able to respond with another 3. But Milford looks to have this one locked up now with less than a minute to go. With the lead back at 15. And the student section ready to celebrate as Saylor runs into some contact. Darling with the inbound. And they cut to the basket for White, trying to finish with a flourish, but that attempt no good. Another long ball from Sharon, no good. Perez settles down the rebound, the pass into the front court, and that should be that. A few more passes as Milford will claim their first victory of this 2018-2019 season. And they powered their way to this victory with an excellent offensive performance here in the second half, as they will take this game by a final score of 66-51. They end up cruising to victory. It was that 24-point third quarter performance that really set the tone. And so Milford now will improve to 1-2 overall on the season. They claim their first Davenport victory. And for Sharon, they lose in their season debut. They fall to 0-1. And so again, more home cooking coming up for the Scarlet Hawks on Tuesday, as they will be back here in the Milford gym taking on a Kelly Rex Division rival in the King Philip Warriors. That is when we will have you covered next here on Milford TV. But in the meantime, a successful effort here tonight, and a big thank you to our Milford TV crew on hand, our camera operators Scott Crisafulli, Malcolm Zale, and Caitlin Mobilia, and our director for the game tonight, Mike Sperling, and I am Tim Coet. That final score, one final time, Milford victorious over the Sharon Eagles. They win by a final score of 66-51. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.